What up, y'all? Expiry here. Today we're going to go over the leveling talent specs for Shadow Priest to get from 60 to 70. We're going to talk about the important professions to take in the Burning Crusade Classic, as well as consumables that's going to make your leveling experience a little bit easier, and touch on gear ever so briefly. So I'm going to respec my character. TBC launches in a couple hours from this video. Wish to unlearn my talents? Yes, I do. Keep in mind, every time you respec, it does cost more gold, so you really want to get your talent spec correct from the get-go. The first talent I'm going to use for a leveling build is going to be 5 out of 5 Spirit Tap. This gives you a 100% chance to gain 100% bonus to Spirit after killing a target, and it gives you mana regeneration while in combat. In my opinion, this is one of the best talents in the Shadow Tree for leveling and for PvE encounters in general. Next, we're going to take Improved Shadow Ward Pain, because this is your primary damage over time ability. Extending it deals more damage equals kill more things. We're going to put 3 points into Shadow Focus for now. We may come back to this. This increases your chance to hit by 6%. The caster spell hit cap is 16%. I know now TBC has hit rating instead of hit chance, but we're going to put 3 points in this so that our enemies resist spells less often, and we may come back and finish maxing this out. But just 2 and 3 in the second row for now. We're also going to avoid the threat talents for the time being. Next, we're going to take Mind Flay. This is a massive damage ability for Shadow Priest. It's a damage over time ability, single target that also slows their movement speed. Very, very good ability. 100% have to take this. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back and max out Shadow Focus to 5 out of 5. This is really good for PvE. If you're doing PvP, you don't need to max this out, but for PvE, it's really nice, especially for higher level targets and bosses if you plan on doing dungeons, to have 10% increased hit, and then you want to get another 6% from gear. I think that comes out to around 79 hit rating. I'll verify that right here. All right. After that, you can either put some points into Improved Psychic Scream or Mind Blast or Threat Reduction. I'm going to go ahead and do Improved Psychic Scream. The reason for that is I think having a shorter fear cooldown is really nice if you're solo leveling, as well as if you find yourself in a PvP situation. And we're going to take Silence. Whoa, Renda's dropping. We're going to take Silence down there in a little bit as well. Next, I'm going to take Shadow Reach, put 2 points into Shadow Reach for 20% increased range on your shadow spells. This talent is a must-have in my opinion. Being able to dot from afar, having your Mind Flay extended in how close to the target you have to be is really nice, so you're not in melee range of enemies, and even if you do pull aggro or you need to kite mobs, you can do it from a lot farther, so it puts your character at a lot less risk. Keep in mind, Shadow Priest is a cloth user, so you definitely don't want to be hit a lot by melee and otherwise. Next, we're going to max out Shadow Weaving. This increases your shadow damage by 10% on the target once you have 5 stacks of this debuff. So if you cast 5 abilities that all hit the target, it's going to increase shadow damage to that target by 10%. This is why Shadow Priest is kind of a ramp class, because it takes a little bit of time for their debuffs to stack on the enemy, but once you have a full debuff thing on your enemy, you deal a lot more damage. So this is super, super good for both PvP and PvE, leveling, all that good stuff. After that, we unlock talents. On the 5th row, I'm going to take Vampiric Embrace, because this talent's going to be necessary for Shadow Form later on. I'm going to take Silence, because this is going to be useful in dungeons against any caster mobs. It's going to be good in PvP. If some enemies try to gank you, you can silence them for 5 seconds and maybe kill them in that time. In Raid, you may not need this talent, but if you're doing dungeons and solo questing, I would recommend it. Plus, it's really, really fun. I like this talent a lot. Next, I'm going to take 2 out of 2 in Improved Vampiric Embrace. You don't have to do this. You could put these 2 talent points into Improved Mind Blast. You could put them into Focused Mind for less mana cost. You could also put them into Shadow Affinity for less threat generation. But keep in mind, this is a leveling talent build where you may encounter world PvP, you're going to be solo questing, and you're also going to be in dungeons. I think improved Vampiric Embrace, the 10% bonus healing you get from using your Vampiric Embrace, which is a curse that heals everybody in your party for a percentage, 25% of the damage you deal. This makes it 35%. This helps keep your entire party alive in a dungeon. It helps you heal yourself more while dealing damage if you're fighting monsters while questing. And if you're in PvP, it also heals you more while you're kiting and fighting your enemies. So I really like improved Vampiric Embrace. It's a scaling ability. It's really nice. Next, I'm going to put 4 points in Darkness. Increases your shadow spell damage by 8%. You know what? Let's put 5 points in Darkness. We like Darkness. This is a great ability. We're going to max it out. Shadow spell damage by 10%. More damage as a DPS caster. Very important. We love it. Next is the iconic Shadow Form ability. You have to use this if you're a Shadow Priest. Increases your shadow damage by 15% and reduces physical damage done by 15%. This is why Shadow Priests are really annoying for melee to fight, especially warriors, because we have a flat percent damage reduction to all physical damage. So, plus, it gives you Shadow Form, and this is what makes a Shadow Priest, in my opinion. After this, we have some room to play around. For leveling specifically, I'm going for utility, efficiency, and versatility. So those are kind of the 3 aspects I'm trying to pick on when I'm choosing my next talents. This ability, Shadow Power, increases the crit chance of your Mind Blast and Shadow Word Death spells by up to 15%. This is a very good ability, but in my opinion, this is more of a raid late game ability, and I don't think you're going to get the same usage out of it while you're leveling as you would in end game. So at level 70, you may want to respec and max this out, but for now, I'm going to go for efficiency, and I'm actually going to put some points into Focused Mind to reduce the mana cost of Mind Flay and Mind Blast, as well as Mind Control. Mind Flay is the main ability I want reduced mana cost of, because it's going to mean that I can just deal more damage without worrying about mana issues. So I'm going to put 3 points into Focused Mind. So just a little recap so far. We have 5 points in Spirit Tap, going to help you with mana regen. 2 points in Improved Shadow Ward Pain. 5 points in Shadow Focus. 2 points in Improved Psychic Scream. 1 point in Mind Flay. 2 points in Shadow Reach. 5 points in Shadow Weaving. 1 point in Silence. 1 point in Vampiric Embrace. 2 points in Improved Vampiric Embrace. 3 points in Focused Mind. 5 points in Darkness. 1 point in Shadow Form. And now we are on the second to last row, where I'm going to max out Misery. This is going to help your entire party, as well as you personally, whether you're solo questing or in a dungeon. Your enemies are going to take 5 additional % spell damage. That's a lot. So if you have any mages or warlocks in your group, even an elemental shaman or a boomkin, this is going to help your entire party. And it's another debuff, which is really annoying for PvP people to deal with because they have to dispel it. Last but not least, in the Shadow Tree, we are going to take Vampiric Touch. I talked about this ability briefly in my last video, but this ability is awesome. It deals tons of damage. It restores mana to you and your entire party. It's another dot. It is a casted ability, so it does have a cast time, but this ability is amazing. Definitely you want to put at least 41 points into the Shadow Tree to take Vampiric Touch. So for raid at level 70, you probably will put more points into the Shadow Tree, but I'm actually going to transition over for now into the Discipline Tree. As a Shadow Priest, I avoid Holy personally. I don't find that these first couple rows of talents are very useful. There could be an interesting use case where you take Improved Renew and maybe up to Spell Warding, but I think Discipline is way, way, way better. So the first thing I'm going to do, in Classic, I would take Wand Specialization, but in TBC leveling, I think I'm going to take Unbreakable Will for 15% increased resilience against Stun, Fear, and Silence. Do I want Wand Specialization, though? This one is better for PvP, and this one might be better for PvE. You know what? I'm going to take Wand Specialization, actually. I don't think I'm going to be casting with wands a lot, but if I do find myself in a position where I don't have a whole lot of mana, I actually want to have an ability to deal more damage. So I'm actually going to take the 25% increased wand damage specialization. For me, you could definitely take Unbreakable Will. This is going to be better in PvP, but I think for leveling, this gives you an opportunity if you run into mana issues to where you can deal more damage just using your wand. So I'm going to take this, but feel free to take Unbreakable Will if you want to. Next, we have this row. And let's see. So the reason why I'm putting points into the discipline tree is because I want to get up to inner focus and meditation as I level up. I have to be level 64 to get both of these abilities. And then I may go back into the shadow tree and take some threat reduction and things like that. But I think, let's see what I want to do. Let's go ahead and take Improved Power Ward Shield. This is going to be very good if you're kind of helping with some off heals in a dungeon. You can shield your tank if you need to. It's going to help you where you can shield yourself and then pull a mob in solo questing. And also if you get ganked, you just have more survivability. So I'm going to take Improved Power Ward Shield. And then this one's always tricky for me. Martyrdom, which is kind of a PvP talent, makes it where if you get critically struck by a physical ability, you don't get interrupted with casting. Or Improved Power Ward Fortitude, which increases your overall stamina with Fortitude. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 points into Improved Power Ward Fortitude because I plan on doing dungeoning as well as some solo questing, and more stam equals more dam. So these are the abilities I put in at level 60. You guys can't see that I'm level 60 right now because I'm rested, but I am level 60. As I level up and get to higher levels, I'm going to put a point into inner focus, 3 points into meditation, and then from there, I'm probably going to go back into the shadow tree and put some points into shadow power, as well as shadow affinity, and maybe even improve mind blast. So this is going to be my leveling build. I think this is a really balanced spec that's going to help you with PvP. It's going to help you with solo questing, and it's also going to help you in dungeons. Gives you a nice amount of versatility. It's not boring, and it's pretty good. Next, let's talk briefly about professions. If I press C and I go to my skills tab, you can see that the professions I have chosen are engineering and tailoring. To be honest, the most important profession for a Shadow Priest phase 1 is tailoring, because all of your pre-best in slot as well as your phase 1 best in slot comes from the tailoring profession. So 100% if you're playing Shadow Priest, max out tailoring. Your secondary profession can be whatever your playstyle is. I like doing world PvP. I have multiple characters that can kind of fund this character. I'm going to do engineering, but you could definitely do enchanting. You could do mining. You could do herbalism. You could do alchemy, a gathering profession, like I said. Pretty much anything, but tailoring's the main one you should do. Do tailoring. Tailoring, 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 and then whatever you want to do. All right. Let's talk about consumables for leveling, because this is going to make your life a little bit easier. You can see I'm probably over-prepared here with a lot of different potions and consumables. Let's talk about must-have consumables, important ones, and then ones that you can kind of go without. So the must-have consumables for leveling, in my opinion, are food, water, and candles. Candles, because if you're doing dungeon groups, this is going to buff your entire party for an hour. You use sacred candles to cast, where is it? To cast Prayer of Fortitude, which buffs your entire party, which is really nice because we took the Improved Power Word Fortitude. And you can also give your entire party Prayer of Shadow Protection so that they don't take the same shadow damage against certain bosses in certain dungeons. So you want your candles, 100%. I stocked up on 80 of these. You can get these in any major city, so you don't have to over-prepare. And then food, water. Oh, and bandages. You need bandages as well. If you don't have first aid at 300, get first aid to 300 as fast as you can. Even if you delay leveling to level first aid for maybe 2 hours, I think it's actually worth it. Get first aid to 300 ASAP if you don't already have it. But yes, so food and water. If you go to the honor vendor, if you have some honor, you can get Star's Lament. It's 4,200 mana over 30 seconds. This is really good. It's the same as Mage Water. And then if you have some reputation with the Frostwolf clan from Alteric Valley, you can get Alteric Mana Biscuits, which restore health and mana. You could also just ask a mage for food and water. The reason why I like to buy my food and water is because I don't always play with a mage. I don't always have mages around me. So I want to make sure I have food and water available at any given time. I also have a couple low-level food and water that I picked up in Classic. But yes, food and water, because you're going to run out of mana sometimes. You're going to need to heal. And it's just going to reduce your time leveling overall because you're going to be higher health and higher mana. You don't have to sit there waiting on the MP5 ticks. Bandages, because you're going to take damage, and it's one of the fastest ways to heal yourself, and it doesn't require you to spend mana. So you can literally kill an entire pack of monsters solo questing, bandage yourself, just like so. And then once you bandage yourself, you still might have some mana, you should be good health, you can go back immediately. So it's going to cut down a lot of downtime. So those are the 4 must-have consumables: food, water, bandages, and candles. The next most important consumables, I would say, are health and mana potions, because you may find yourself in a pickle where you overpulled some monsters, or you're running out of mana in a dungeon and you're on the boss and he's almost going to die, but your tank just died and you need to kill him. So get some healing and mana potions. Again, the Honor Vendor has some really cheap mana and healing potions that cost almost nothing. You can only have 10 of them at a time, but you could restock on these. These are probably the cheapest. There's also going to be super mana potions and super healing potions as soon as the Burning Crusade launches. Right now, a lot of the consumables are very expensive, so feel free to downgrade, get some superior mana instead of major, or if super ends up being really expensive, you can get major instead of super. But yeah, healing potions and mana potions are definitely going to help you out. Keep in mind, you can only use one at a time, so you can only use a healing potion or only a mana potion until the cooldown resets. But those are the second most important consumables, and kind of the luxury consumables that are really nice to have, but definitely not necessary, especially if you don't have 4,000 gold, are buff consumables. I just have a lot of the classic ones, but things like Greater Arcane Elixir, Mage Blood Potion, Elixir of Shadow Power, a lot of these potions get upgraded in Burning Crusade, so you may have stronger versions of these. Brilliant Wizard Oil, Krieg Stout, which increases your spirit, Nightfin Soup, where is that? That gives you mana per 5. Anything that buffs your damage or regen or anything like that, really nice to have, but definitely not necessary. You should be fine without it, but it will cut down a little bit of downtime. You'll be able to kill things faster and probably survive longer. So that's going to do it for consumables. Most important ones: food, water, bandages, candles. Second most important, healing and mana potions. Third most important, buff potions. After that, let's talk briefly about gear. Maybe you have a newly boosted character, or you're completely super stacked like I am because I've been playing Classic for 2 years. Basically, you want to upgrade your gear whenever you can. You want to have multiple gear sets if you can. Like I have a stamina set, which is really good for solo questing, and I also have a raid set, which is really good for dungeoning. But as you do dungeons, you want to prioritize spell damage items, followed by items with good stats. So stats being intellect, spirit, and stamina. And then after that, I would say a spell crit. So that's going to be kind of the gear you want to get to. Once you start doing your dungeons, your raids, things like that, you'll see items where, oh, okay, that has spell damage. Okay, that has a lot of intellect on it as well. Yeah, I should probably need on that. So that's how you're going to prioritize your gear. But I hope this video was helpful. Kind of a quick run through. This is my personal TBC preparation from 60 to 70. I'm really excited to go into Outlands. I hope to see some of you out there. And good luck on the push to level 70. Playing Priest is highly rewarding. It is probably the most fun I've ever had playing a class in World of Warcraft. Maybe aside from Resto Druid and Wrath of the Lich King. But really fun class. They do a lot. They have a lot of utility, a lot of damage. Really fun. I wish you good luck leveling. If you like this video, please like the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also check out my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/ExpiryTV, where I'm going to be streaming Burning Crusade leveling, as well as high-end raiding and arena when I get there. And sometimes we do some community and variety stuff too. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourselves, stay safe and healthy, and also, dab on the haters. Peace.